So today, we have the MCU Eternals taking on the DCEU Justice Society plus Black Adam. Who wins? Let's find out. So, before we get started, let's talk briefly about each character before the breakdown. And just so you know, yeah, Black Adam is on the Justice Society team for funsies. So, let's start off with the Justice Society. Atom Smasher has one simple power. It's nothing much, really. It's just that he can grow up to 6 stories tall. Seems like a good, devastating power to have. He accidentally destroyed buildings. He accidentally sent Hawkman flying with a backhand. He punched Black Adam into the ground, and then he held this massive statue that could have possibly weighed 80 to 100,000 tons. Next, we have Cyclone. She can manipulate and control wind due to the nanites in her blood. She can make herself basically fly, and she can use her wind to either make tornadoes or project big projectiles like multiple of these pole things. And she moves as fluid as the wind itself, making her very fast and agile. But now, let's get to the real heavy hitters. Hawkman is strong enough to brawl with Black Adam and Sabbac. His nth metal armor allowed him to take beatings from both of them, and even take Black Adam's lightning. His armor also allowed him to absorb energy to some degree, like Black Adam's lightning. He normally carries an nth metal mace, but this can also be turned into any other melee weapon. He can form a shield on his other hand if he wants to. He's a very skilled combatant, experienced hero, and he can fly due to his wings. His wings can also act as a shield as well. Dr. Fate is a master of magic due to his ancient magical helmet, plus like 100 years of experience. He could cast massive illusions, like when he made Black Adam see Kahndaq how it was before, like back when he was around. He could create multiple clones of himself, and these are able to stagger and even temporarily restrain Black Adam and Sabbac. This actually seems to be his go-to fighting style. He could create energy constructs that blocked Black Adam's lightning and caused him to yell out in pain, as well as hurt Sabbac as well. He could fly and levitate. He could see glimpses of the future and work to change it if he sees fit. And lastly, Black Adam. He generally overpowered Hawkman, one-shotted Atom Smasher, ripped Sabbac in half, and he lifted that same statue that Atom Smasher lifted earlier. He easily took hits from Hawkman and Sabbac and survived being hit with Eternium missile, a magical missile. And he was so fast that he had his own Quicksilver scene where everything around him seemed like it was going in slow motion. His lightning was able to bust out of a mountain, resort a guy to a skeleton, and causes massive amounts of water to explode out of that lake. He can also release it as a massive omnidirectional blast that destroyed a stone palace, and could also use it to heal any fatal wounds. He was also a brutal ancient warrior and Kahndaq's protector. So that is the Justice Society, but here's the Eternals. Ajax was the leader of the team, and as leader, she was the only one capable of speaking directly to the celestial Ereshkigal until she died and Cersei was able to. Her power was healing. She could heal herself and others instantly, even fatal wounds. She was strong enough to fight against deviants and tanked a multi-story fall, and she was a skilled combatant as well. Cersei's power is transmutation. She can change any material from one state to another. She's turned a crashing bus into petals, a large stone fossil fixture into dust, a volcanic rock into a flock of birds, and even turned a deviant into a big blood tree thing. Athena can construct any energy weapon in her hand. She seems to prefer melee weapons like swords, axes, spears, daggers, etc. These seem to be able to slice and pierce or bust through just about anything, and she is a brave and very skillful warrior and was even able to fight against Icarus. Kingo's power is finger shooting. Like, literally, he shoots small but precise energy bolts from his fingertips. He can even charge his bullets for a more powerful blast. He hurt and sent deviants flying, even blasted one's head off with a charged bolt. Fastos can create and manipulate any technology without even touching it. The walls of his house can stop Icarus's I-beams. He created arm cannons that sent Crow flying, launched a set of exploding blade discs, a shield that blocked Icarus's I-beams, and he created a set of restraints that temporarily held down Icarus as well. He's also incredibly smart, like Tony Stark smart. Uh, Makari is the speedster. She's capable of running hundreds of meters in a second and across the globe in just a few seconds. This speed allows her to generate great impact force, great enough to stun and even beat Icarus into the side of a volcano, causing it to crack. She's run so fast that she's created vacuums by running in a circle, and even created a Mach cone, basically easily breaking the sound barrier. She can also sense vibrations in her surroundings, and even withstood Icarus's I-beams. Druid can control the minds of others. He stopped a war by controlling everyone's mind with ease, and claims he can control everyone's mind on Earth, but doesn't for ethical reasons. He also withstood being burrowed into the ground by Icarus's I-beams. He is a true wild card for the team. Gilgamesh is the true heavy hitter of the team. He can form these gauntlets over his arms and legs to increase his strength, specifically his striking power. He sent a large deviant flying through a stone statue, and clashing with Athena constructs caused shockwaves that shook nearby trees and even knocked Athena out as well. He's blocked her bladed constructs, and he too is a very skillful brawler. Sprite can form lifelike illusions. She's filled an entire street of copies of herself and Cersei, turned herself and three others invisible, she's created even a dozen dummy volcanoes, and made an exit in a cloud of locusts. She carries a small dagger and is very mischievous. And finally, Icarus, the most powerful member of the team, the Superman of the team, like literally. He's fought against, killed, and even ripped deviants apart with relative ease. He was able to single-handedly beat like half of the Eternals. He's taken hits from deviants and most of the Eternals and just got back up with no real damage. It even took him flying into the sun to kill himself. It took a sun, okay? He was able to eventually react to and stop Makari, and even flew to the sun in mere seconds. His I-beams have injured Crow, Druid, and Makari's, and blasted through the starship. The director even said he was as powerful as Captain Marvel. So, who wins? Which team is more powerful, and which team wins at the end of the day? Well, I think this fight has several scenarios that could play out. First one that comes to my mind is Druid. He can just mind control the whole Justice Society team, and the fight is over. Simple as that. He stopped a war, he can stop them. However, Fate can see glimpses into the future, and it's quite possible that he saw him do this and can prepare for it, possibly by telling Black Adam to just blitz him at the start and take him out immediately. And then I think Icarus and Black Adam will just take off and they'll start brawling it out up in the sky. They're doing their thing. I think Cersei and Fastos will take on Dr. Fate. Athena and Gilgamesh will take on Hawkman. And Makari will take on Atom Smasher and Cyclone. And then Ajax, Sprite, and Kingo are just in the back as support. So, with that being said, I think when Atom Smasher gets big, Gilgamesh will probably leave Athena to Hawkman and go help take him down. That might actually be a bad thing for Athena, because I think eventually Hawkman would win that fight. He is stronger. He might not be as skilled, but he's stronger, he's tougher, he can fly. I think he would eventually get the best of Athena. Between Icarus and Black Adam, I think Black Adam would eventually get the victory, just because I think Black Adam would beat Captain Marvel. And the director said Icarus and Captain Marvel are essentially equals. But this might be controversial and a hated outcome, but I do think the Eternals would win. Not only do they have twice the numbers, but they just have more experience fighting as a team, and they just work better as a team. The only real bad relationship on the Eternals is between Cersei and Sprite, but even they can put their differences aside while fighting. And not to mention, the Eternals are a family that have been together for thousands of years. On the other hand, Hawkman and Fate are the only real good working relationship on the Justice Society. Cyclone and Iron Smasher are growing on each other, but they lack the experience. Hawkman seems to hate Atom Smasher, and Black Adam has a one-man army mindset. He doesn't work well with others, and even Fate will try to take matters into his own hands like he did in his fight against Sabak. And there's another thing, something I didn't mention earlier. The Eternals have the Unimind. Basically, 2 to 9 members of the team can lend their power to one specific member to significantly amp their power. With this, Druig was able to mind control a Celestial, and Cersei was able to turn that Celestial into stone completely. This thing was supposed to destroy the planet, and they were able to do that to it. Imagine Icarus with this, man. I don't think Black Adam would win that fight anymore. That would talk about an unstoppable force. Really, any of them with this would be a massive problem. But even without this, the Justice Society all seem to suffer from Batman syndrome. They don't kill. And while Black Adam could definitely bull rush through a lot of them by himself, he would eventually be overwhelmed, and he can only get so far by doing this. And yeah, I know he doesn't have Batman syndrome. He kills regularly. He doesn't care, but he's the only one that has that mindset. But then there is Dr. Fate. To be honest, he could possibly beat whichever the Eternals is left by himself. He was very powerful, versatile, knowledgeable, and experienced. But I think it's more likely he'll get overwhelmed. Even if he sees defeat coming, it doesn't mean he can keep it from happening. If the Eternals were more like the Avengers in that they didn't stay on the sidelines for thousands of years and they were actively stopping world-ending threat after world-ending threat after world-ending threat like the Avengers, then I would side with the Justice Society, because this way they would know more about them. Amanda Waller would know more about them and could inform them on their powers and their abilities. And in that case, I would actually side with the Justice Society. But the Justice Society wouldn't know them because the Eternals sat on the sidelines for thousands of years. They were told to stay in the shadows and not help out humanity very much, only protect them from deviants, and that's it. So the Justice Society wouldn't know anything about them. I'm siding with the Eternals after a hard-hitting fight with some casualties. The Eternals win. Like and subscribe if you did enjoy. Leave a comment of what you thought and hit the notification bell to be notified of all my future videos and all that great stuff. I truly do appreciate it, and I hope you guys have a great day. Peace!